on UpViral's ticker. You saw me in the UpViral. I just added the little logo there in the lower right corner. I was the host of the UpViral Co-Pilot Show. The UpViral team decided to nix that particular show, and therefore I am now coming to you live, unsponsored by anybody except for my good friends over at Thank You Page Magic, which of course is me. Welcome. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate all of you. Here's the question of the day. And I meant to look this up, Bradley, if you're still here, because I think we talked about this question. But I have a question for you, and it would really be great if in the chat you can tell me what your answer is. And I'm going to tell you why this question is important, and we're going to dive into some other stuff. But if you are here, let me know that you're here. If you're new, by the way, go ahead and pass. Comment #new or I'm new. Raise your hand, whatever you would like to do, because I would like to acknowledge the new people. I have a couple of people that have been here before, Bradley and Devin and several other people. I've already popped in and made comments, so I appreciate those comments. I'm still I keep getting upset when tech things happen. Because now I can't use my sounds. I'm just coming to you through this microphone that is here, and none of the other stuff that usually work wouldn't. Miles Austin! Welcome, Miles. First show, couldn't miss it. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Miles. Long time since we've chatted. In fact, I don't remember the last time we did, so... That's what happens when you get to be 65. All right, here's the question that I would love for you to answer, if you wouldn't mind. For those of you who have an email list, which should, hint, 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 be every one of you, how many times do you email your list? That's what I would love to hear in the chat. How many times do you email your list? How frequently? Once a month? Once every couple of weeks? Once a week? Be brave. You can do it. And I do know there's a delay. There's the Facebook live streaming delay. The reason I was talking about Bradley and I are doing a podcast, by the way. If here it is. Here's the answer. The podcast, if you want to go watch the Bradley and I podcast. By the way, we are doing those every Thursday. Something's not right today. We are doing those every Wednesday. So tomorrow morning, an hour earlier than this, or is it this time? I think it's this time. We will be broadcasting our live stream Facebook or podcast recording. Oh man, my brain, come on. Deb's here. Hi, Deb. Deb says never. Well, Deb, stick with me. We're gonna fix that, because if you pay attention to today's show, I think you're gonna find out that answer is unfortunately not the right answer. And yes, I'm biased because I do tend to think that it is critical. Miles has a good answer. Miles says once a week. Some user over on Twitch, TT Freak 1, says, hey, buy followers. No, I don't want to buy followers. Miles, once a week. That's a good answer. There aren't any wrong answers here. Oh, look, they're all coming in. Buy followers. Buy followers. Deb Mitchell. Actually, and Deb's a good friend of mine, by the way. She has a really nice membership called... I'm laughing because my brain has gone dead. You get ready to do a live stream and you think and you think and you think, and then you get in front of the camera and your brain goes... Anyway, I'm in Deb's membership. I haven't participated a lot in Deb's membership, and I should be, and I feel guilty about that. Deb says, actually, I have the very first email written and plan on sending it sometime this week. Perfect. Get to it. Deb, how's the dog? How's the pug? Community Builders Paradise. Thank you, Deb. Whew. Could not remember that. It used to be called something wow, and that's what I was going to say because that was my title, but anyway. Here is the crux of the matter. And I'm going to give you some examples, and I'm going to show you why this is ultimately the most important thing in your business. Guess what? I'm going to do a couple of screens that you guys have probably already seen before if you've paid any attention to me. But here's the myth. Email is dead. Everybody says email is dead, right? But not building your lists and not emailing your list is costing you money. Now, let me put it into perspective before we go into some of the details about how often you should email your list, because I find that as entrepreneurs, we get so wrapped up inside of our business. We're working in our business. We're trying to get all the stuff done. We're trying to post on Facebook. We're trying to grow our Facebook following. We're trying to grow LinkedIn, and we're going to Instagram. And we are doing Instagram because everybody tells us we ought to be doing Instagram. And then we got to do Snapchat, and then we got to do this, and we got to do that. And we forget that our email list is still by far the most important thing on the planet. Let me give you some examples. Email, according to the survey by HubSpot, email has the highest return on investment. Isn't that what we want? Return on investment, of course. But this is the one that really kicks me. 40 times as many purchases come from links and emails than social media. Email is not dead. I'm going to say that again. And if my sound's working, see, I get all this stuff set up and then it doesn't work. Email is not dead. In fact, the marketing industry says that an email address on your list should be worth about $1 per lead per month. And if you get 1,000 people on your list, theoretically, that revenue is about $12,000, right? Once you get 1,000 people on your list, every month you should be pulling in about $1,000 from that list, from sales and stuff. That gets us back to the question of how often you should be emailing. Now, as far as I know, there isn't any real recommendation. Maybe there is. I need to go ask this question in the marketing world. There's a whole variety of different answers to this question. How often should you email your list? But you first have to recognize that the list is valuable. We often forget that. Like I just said, the social media gurus, the gurus all over the planet are always telling you to be building your list. They do say build your list. A lot of them do. But they also say, go build your Facebook group. Focus on your Facebook group because there's revenue there. But we all know that Facebook's algorithm whacks down the number of people that see your stuff. That's also true on Instagram. It's true on Twitter. It's true virtually in all of these places. But email is always there. We also see, and we've seen it a lot recently, that Facebook will kill your business if you do something wrong. I can't tell you how many times in the last year I've seen people say, well, Facebook blocked me. In fact, Facebook blocked me from running ads because I hadn't set up the two-factor authentication thing yet. Not that I've run any ads lately, but they said you can't even do stuff until you do the two-factor authentication. So they are in control. But guess what? Your email list is your email list. So email is not dead. Now let me show you some evidence of that. I am not going to talk about the politics of this. I mentioned it in my email newsletter last week because it came out that there is some guy that is in the politics that talks a lot, and he's pretty famous, and he was a president for a while, and we're not going to get into the pluses and minuses of this guy. But it came out last week that he raised, after between, let's say in the last year, we'll just say in the last year, not trying to get any kind of political things, you all know who I'm talking about, but in the last year plus, through his email list, he raised $250 million. Yes, there's the cash register sound. It doesn't work because I screwed up the audio. $250 million he raised through his email list. And it came out that people looked at his email lists and found out that he was sending as many as 25 emails. Bye, Deb. She's got to go to the dentist. He's sending as many as 25 emails a day. Yes, you heard that right. 25 a day. And one news reporter that I was watching last week said that he was on this guy's list. And that particular day, he counted 17 emails that came from that gentleman. So let's put 2 and 2 together there as a perfect example of how often should you email? A lot. Bradley and I just had a podcast episode, as a matter of fact, that we called Relentless. And we talked about this topic last week. If you want to go watch the replay is over there. If you go over to there it is, hearmitch.com, you can see that replay. We called it Relentless because that's the topic. And this is an important topic, which is why I wanted to launch my news. Come on, brain. My live stream with this topic. It is critical to your business that you send as many emails as you can. And I know Bradley and I talked about this, and some people get a little paranoid, a little freaky about the idea of sending too many emails because some people are going to leave, right? When I was running my Planet 5D blog, which started in 2008, and I just killed it this year, most years I was sending at least 5 emails a week. Sometimes 7 emails a week. I was emailing virtually every day. I was gathering news, I was creating blog posts, and I was sending out snippets of those blog posts, getting people over to my website where the advertisers were. I was paid based on advertisers wanting lots of traffic to that website. So I emailed them daily because, and I would have people write me, and like if I took a vacation because I didn't plan things in advance, I didn't have things scheduled in advance, I'd have people email me and go, "What, did I somehow get dropped from the list? I'm not currently getting any of your emails." And well, okay, I stopped for a couple of days. But people would beg me to email them. That's what we want, right? We want to have those kind of followers that want to read what we have to deliver. So, Miles, if you're still here, how many people have ever written you and said, once a week is too often? I bet they don't write and say, could you send more emails? Because most people don't want emails, right? But has anybody ever, of course, what you don't know is usually people will unsubscribe, and you probably don't know why they unsubscribed. But this topic is critical to our business, which is why I wanted to start here. I wanted to be able to go in and talk about the email list. Now, when I start growing and talking more about Thank You Page Magic, we're going to talk about how to get people onto your list. But if you're not emailing your list, if you're not growing your list, then in my opinion, what you're missing out on is the number one thing in your business. Facebook can drop you. If you're focusing on Instagram, they could drop you. The service can drop. They can just decide to shut down. Obviously, most of them are not going to do that. But the email list that you grow is the only thing that you have that potentially can save your business. If you lost all your social media, you still have your email list. If the email list provider decides to cancel you, you can always just take your list and go to some other email service provider and start again. You have those people. They opted in. Oops, I hit my ceiling fan. They raised their hand because they wanted to hear from you. Now, this week, by the way, I have been interacting with a gentleman who is launching a $1 billion prize contest. And yes, you heard that one right. $1 billion is what they are planning on offering as a prize. And I'm just checking over here to see, because again, last week when I was on the show, I found there were comments that were happening that I wasn't seeing, but it looks like to me so far today, we are getting the right comments, which I think is fantastic, because that makes me less worried about things, of me missing things. Oh, by the way, let's see. If you don't remember where to find me, ever, there's a couple of places you can go. And I have this, what is that? I don't know what that is. Oh, I know what that is. Turn that off. All right. I'm learning with the tech as we go here. I am learning and doing different things. So, oops. I can't type and talk at the same time. All right. So now if I turn this on, if everything works with the magic of the internet, the magic of the internet. I want to make sure this is working right. There it is. If you go to cmitch.com, you will find this, and I think it's lovely that it showed the picture of me reaching up. Isn't that cool? But over here on cmitch.com, you can watch me live. So there is a live stream. That is this live stream. And I'm a little disappointed because the chat doesn't seem to be working. Why is that not working? Actually, I think it only works when a new message comes in. I'm going to test it, right? New message. Yes, I know I'm off topic. Ha, look, it does work. And this, by the way, is built on a tool called UpViral. If you haven't heard about UpViral, for those of you who are new to me, UpViral is the tool that I use all the time, which is why I was on the Copilot show. But this page has a live stream and it has a chat. It has a pop-up here, which I want you to pay attention to if you're interested in keeping up with me. There is a calendar, right? Here we are today, episode 1, the MitchMagic Magic live stream. And yes, we're going to have a contest to decide what to call it, because I'm struggling with the words. Tomorrow, the Bradley and Mitch live podcast recording, it will be in the same places you're finding me right now. So it'll be on Twitch and all of those places. We'll be live streaming in the same spot. It will be on See Mitch, by the way. And then next week, we will be doing campaign reviews in this time slot. On the fourth Tuesday, we're always going to be doing campaign reviews, and there's great stuff to learn from looking at campaign reviews. For example, the one that I started talking about just a minute ago with the $1 billion prize. And then the first Tuesday of July will be some new presentation from me, the Bradley and Mitch podcast again, the Q&A. So the second Tuesday of the month is the Q&A for this channel. Then there's the broadcast of the podcast, and then third Tuesday is another presentation, podcast, and then the fourth Tuesday is campaign review. So I am going through and doing this schedule, and I accidentally clicked there, so you can see the last episode of the podcast, although that's not the last one, it's number 9, so I have forgotten to do something there. But so you can come see me on a regular basis. That's why it's called the regular show. But let me show you, and I've forgotten which tab it is. That's not the right tab. But that's the announcement of this show. But over here, that's not it either. Dadgummit. I thought this was it. I want to go show you this. Sorry, I gotta scroll down to find it. Oh, come on. Where is it? There's Deb. Hi, Deb. Brian Bennett. That's not the one either. See, I grabbed this. See, it wasn't that one. This is what happens when you aren't totally set. I swear this was it. No, it's this one. Eric Oliver. There it is. The world's first $1 billion raffle. So thank you for struggling through that with me. Put those away for now. We don't need those. The interesting thing, there's a lot of interesting things about this particular campaign. And I wanted to highlight it for the relationship to the campaign, the topic of today, and that's how often do you email. I don't know the answer for that one for this yet, because I have not registered for it. But the key is several things. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that I have done a case study on this. I spent some good time yesterday recording a case study showing why this campaign is important, not besides the fact that it's a $1 billion prize, things that they are doing well, and things that I think they screwed up on. Now, it's a raffle, and I have yet to decide whether or not I'm going to opt in for that raffle, because I'm still not totally sure. Eric Oliver turns out to be one of the teammates on this AVAZoom.com, and he's proud of this, and I think it's a very interesting / good campaign idea. Because they're raising money for charity. The whole intent of that campaign is to raise money for charity. Where they're struggling, and I get into this in the case study, is with not honesty. It feels a little smarmy. It feels a little, and I think they need to work on that particular side of it. Now, in relation to our topic today, how often should you email? I don't know in this particular case how often they intend to email. But I think in this particular case, they have gotten distracted because in the videos on that page, they talk about having to download an app to get updates about the campaign. Why? And maybe they're sending emails. I hope they are sending emails. Eric, if you're watching, if you're out there, because I've started talking about you, let's talk. Tell me whether or not you guys are planning to send lots of emails. Because if I have to download an app in order to keep up to date with what's going on with that, I think that's a potential failure. Now, maybe Mitch is wrong. We just never know whether Mitch is always right. I'd like to think I am. But there are potential struggles in the way they're intending to deliver it. Let me know if you're still out there. I still see quite a few people in the list of the total number of viewers. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I'm going to take a quick swig of ice water because it's getting hot in this room. So what's my recommendation for how often you should email your lists? Any guesses? I think at a minimum, you should be emailing once a week. I think you should be theoretically emailing more than that. I mentioned earlier that the big fear by most people is that people will unsubscribe. I tend to think, hey, look at that. Bravo. And I'm going to butcher the name. Tasos? I apologize. I send at least 3 times per week. Bravo. This is where Mitch actually struggles. I was in a habit of emailing in my past business, as I mentioned a little while ago, once a day. Every morning by 9 o'clock my time. Why didn't that comment go away? Every day by 9 o'clock my time, I sent an email to my list. I got in a very good habit. I also became what I think pretty good at writing emails. Now that I'm switching over to Thank You Page Magic, there are some psychological things going on in my head. I'll be honest with you. You guys have followed me for a while. Know that I tend to be very honest about things. I'm struggling with many of the things that you struggle with in your business. It's relatively new. I'm still not totally sure I've got 1,200 people on my list right now. I stripped away all my old business stuff and I'm starting from scratch like everybody else does. What are they? Are they Thank You Page Magic people? Are they people who followed me because I'm an UpViral expert and the Copilot show? Where are they in the spectrum? What I haven't done a decent job of doing is tagging people in my emails as they came in, where they came from, and what level they are. And I might need to try to do something to try to fix that. So sometimes I struggle with, well, will this topic apply to, excuse me, the newbies? Will it apply to the experts that are on my list? Where do I go? So that's one issue. The other issue is that I just haven't prioritized it highly enough, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it today. Not only to remind you, but to remind myself how important, how critical this is to the future of your business. I recently was turned on to Seth Ellsworth. I don't know if you guys know him. The stuff that I have watched from him so far is amazing. I'm going to switch back over, by the way. Let me get this set up right. So, I am in what's called a progress pod. Again, my brain sometimes with names. In the progress pod, it's a way of prioritizing things and trying to focus and learn how to focus. I love my progress pod that I'm in, and every week we set some small what Richard Ralston calls tiny next steps. Fascinating stuff. But in that progress pod, they have turned me on to Seth Ellsworth. Now, Seth has this page, and I think it's fascinating, this page all by itself. The ancient secret to harnessing human nature's hidden superpower to escape or completely avoid the almost life. Now that's it. There isn't anything else on this page. There's a couple of small paragraphs there, sentences, but that's it. I mean, there is no explanation of what this thing is, anything else that's going on. He kind of hopes that you've heard about this from other places. And if I go to the next tab, I'm not in the right place. The next tab, this is his homepage. And Seth is very big on his superpower is trying to help you do a better you. Everyone talks about what to do and why. Nobody talks about how to do it. Anyway, if you skim through this, all you need to start, it says you'll need to start and finish the Breakthrough Challenge. And that is, if I click on that, you'll see that that is this page. So it's even called the Breakthrough Challenge, but it doesn't say those words anywhere on here. So he has, I don't know, 1 million people on his email list. I've forgotten what he said. Lots and lots of people on his email list. Interesting things that I captured from him. And by the way, there's an instant access and a paragraph below that. Now that I've tried this, I realize I can't scroll any lower. Lessons, things learned. I had this set up, by the way, so that if I were in Facebook, like, for example, right below this, there's a notification. But you can't see the notification because I get really irritated that there's no way for me to show a Facebook page and not have the notifications pop up. So I shrunk this a bit. And now I've learned that that means that I can't show the bottoms of pages. All right. Anyway, Seth Ellsworth has taught me several very important things. And he's on Instagram, and he's only got 27 posts, so there's not a whole lot going on there. In the stuff that I have seen so far, he talks about a couple of things that are really important. Number one, this was a huge takeaway for me, and I'm stealing it, but I don't have a slide for it yet. Everybody knows how to do email. I'm going to say that one again. Everyone knows about email. They know how to use it. They know how to read emails. They know how to delete emails. They know how to unsubscribe from emails. They know how to file them, bring them forward in spam or not spam, that kind of stuff. Everybody knows how to do that. It's not like everybody knows how to post on Facebook. You eventually figure that out, and then Facebook changes things. They don't tell you about the groups, the pages, and this and that. There's a lot of learning that has to go on if you're going to try to run your business on Facebook. Guess what? Everybody knows how to do email. Email has been around for billions of years. It feels like it's been around forever. I mean, when I was working at Boeing, we had something way back when we were still working on stupid terminals, right? We had something, I just remember the name was Profs. I don't remember what Profs stood for, but I'm talking like the mid 80s. We were sending emails back and forth. Long before the internet existed, long before anything else existed, email did. Email is ancient. Email works. Email is simple, right? Everybody knows how to do it. Everybody knows about spam, right? That was the other thing that I wanted to mention when I was thinking about it before. Everybody hates spam. Email has been around for 40 years, 30 years, whatever that number is. And there is still spam. I remember my kids came to me and said, "Dad, why is there spam?" And they're in their 20s now. Why is there still spam? And the simple answer is, I shouldn't read, I shouldn't read Facebook comments. The simple answer is that it works. There is still spam. There are still people trying to sell inappropriate things. There are people trying to sell drugs. There's people trying to sell porn, all this stuff. It works. There must be enough people on the planet that see those emails and actually go pay for it. Right? You think it's spam. It's not something you want. It frustrates you. It makes you mad. But guess what? If it didn't work, people wouldn't be doing it. Same thing with the scammers from Africa that you get that says, "Hey, your aunt and uncle died, or there's this pot and we need $5,000 in order for you to collect $1 million." That stuff apparently still works. So the comment that distracted me, I think, I don't know who this is. I'm sorry, Facebook user. I think that's a great idea. Top 10 email messages to have your readers glued to their inbox. I mean, that is the struggle, right? There is stuff as an entrepreneur you do need to learn. One of the questions is, how many times do you email? Oh, it must be Bradley. The fastest and easiest way to have content ready to thwack into your autoresponder daily. That thwack word is a real key to me. That's got to be Bradley. Oh, and now it says Bradley. So yes, I tend to agree. And those things work really well. Like if you do the top 10 email messages, your opinion is they want it the easy button, as we've talked before. They want to be able to just go, "Well, Mitch has already figured it out, or Bradley's already figured it out. Let me just get those things and clone it." That's one of the reasons, by the way, I'm going to do inside my new membership the case study that I mentioned before about that campaign, the $1 billion campaign, because there's lots of really good stuff that we can learn from looking at what other people are doing. It helps to look at what other people are doing because that way we shorten our time frame to get our stuff done. The other thing I struggle with, okay, so at least once a week, I think is the minimum. My brain says daily, or 3 times a week, as Tassos said earlier. 3 times a week is probably good. It depends upon whether or not your topic really applies. I'm going to struggle with names. Oh, Ryan somebody. He talks about having the perfect audience. Those people that are really lusting for what you have to offer. There are several people that are in my world that I have subscribed to their emails, and when they hit my inbox, they are something that I make time to read. That's what you want to be. You want to have 1,000 people. And if you have 1,000 people, you remember I showed you this stat earlier that everybody says is the standard definition of what is a person on your list worth, the dollar is kind of a minimum. I know people that are making $6, $7, $10 per person per email, or per month. If you got 1,000 people on your email list and you're making $10 a month from them, that's $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. That's a 6-figure income just from your email list. Why aren't you working on your email? Deb, when you come back and finish the replay, why aren't you working on your emails? Mitch raises his hand. Not that kind of looked like a Heil Hitler. I'm sorry. I was just trying to get my hand in the view. Now I've blown it. I have not been doing the kind of job that I should be doing. In fact, being honest, 2 years ago, I was working with a consultant, paying him money every month to try to help me build up my email list in a different way than what I'm teaching. It wasn't working. But I knew if I could get $5,000 a month from my email list, that would pay all my bills. I would be completely self-servant. That's not the word. Self-sufficient. And therefore, all the rest of it that comes in is gravy, right? This is where the money is. I do somewhere, I don't know where it is right now. I do have, it's this one. The money is in your relationship with your list. People are not going to buy from you if you just sell them and sell them and sell them and sell them. People want to have a relationship. I'm going to go back to, you guys should also watch the Relentless podcast episode that Bradley and I talked about, because we talked about this topic, and it is so important that you ought to be learning everything you can simply about this topic. Just the email side of it. How often should you email? I'm in a membership with Christina Etheridge because she is teaching me how to double my open rates. She has all kinds of tips to help you double your open rates, because everybody says, well, the open rates don't work. I only get 20% open rate. Well, you compare your 20% open rate to the 0.07 open rate on Facebook. I mean, they're not even sharing it with more than a single percent of the people on your list. 20% open rate is like, holy cow, that's humongous. That's wonderful. So, Freddie, bless your heart for asking this question. I said bless your heart again. How much is the membership? The one that I am creating, I have a membership right now that is called the Movers Mastermind. And if you go to I don't have it. If you go to moversdo.com, you can see about my high-level mastermind. But the new one that I am setting up, if you go to thankyoupageMagic.com/MitchMagic, you will find out that that is a $37 per month offer. It will be going up as the membership grows, but this is a founder's kind of price. I've just discovered yesterday that I'm laughing because those QR codes, I just found out that I set those up. I went to a place that I thought was a free QR code generator and found out that was only a 14-day trial. So if you use your phone to go to that link, it's not gonna work. So I apologize about that. I'll get that fixed. But in the membership, what's going to happen, Freddie, just so you know, is there will be the case studies, there will be the recordings of all of these episodes will be in the membership. They're completely searchable. So if you, for example, go in when you get into the membership and search for the word Freddie, you will find where we talked just right now about the membership and the cost and the URL and all that other stuff. So it's an amazing tool where the membership is hosted. There will also be the bonuses like the case studies and some additional materials that will be coming along with that, besides just the recordings. And I believe my intention, I'm still trying to figure this out. It's kind of a beta at this point, that the 1 or 2 of the sessions per month will be members only. So you will have to be a member in order to get 1 or 2 of the sessions. The rest of them will be marketing, like this, trying to get people into the membership, to give them answers, to get them interested in what I'm doing, to get them on my list so that I can then, of course, further educate them to help them grow their businesses and become much better businesses so they can serve more people. I see there are quite a few people who have joined in the last 10, 15 minutes. Freddie, I appreciate you joining. I am excited to potentially have you and others in the membership, because for those of you, and Freddie, I'm sorry, I don't know if I've chatted with you before, if you saw me in the UpViral co-pilot show, these titles, nouns, come on, brain, you can do it. In that show, we covered a whole bunch of stuff, and the team over at UpViral knows that that asset is phenomenal. What I tried to get them to do, by the way, was to put all of those into this database where my membership is going to be, so that it would be searchable so people could come in and get their own answers. The key of this tool is to get people to have the ability to get their own answers. So bless your heart. Thank you, Freddie. I did it again. Bless your heart. You watched any of the podcasts that Bradley and I have done, I keep saying this phrase, bless your heart. It turns out in the South, that can be a very negative thing. So I'm not going to dwell on that, but it just keeps popping into my head. And thank you. I saw many UpViral shows, Freddie says. Thank you for being a frequent flyer, a frequent watcher. I appreciate you, Freddie. Stick with me. I'm going to be here instead of over there. So I'm glad to have you on board. One of the other things that I want you to pay attention to, the last note that I have on my planned conversation, and if you have any questions about sending emails, that kind of stuff, let me know. That's why we're here. AJ, who is in my high-level mastermind, the Movers Mastermind, and I called it that, by the way, because the people in the mastermind, I am encouraging, I am pushing, I am hoping, helping, encouraging them to move forward in their business. So the idea of the movers is that you're moving, you're getting busy, you're getting work done. AJ ran a campaign last year. Now, AJ is in the... Oh, bless your... I did it again. Sorry. Thank you so much, Freddie. Before I get into AJ's story, why did that one not... See, something's going on. Technology. I see another comment that is below this one in the other chat window that I have, but it's not on this chat window, so I can't bring it in. Freddie said, I think you bring a lot of value to the table with no BS. So thank you very much, Freddie, for those kind words. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to over-deliver with value, not smoke, that phrase, tell you what works and what doesn't work, because I can help you shortcut your growth of your business. I can help you accelerate your growth. And that's why you want to stick with me. So, as I was talking about AJ, he is in the fraternity and sorority, primarily sorority business. He sells, and they use this phrase, and I think that was very important. We had a long discussion when AJ first came into the mastermind, because on his contests, he says, get your alpha, kappa, alpha. I have to be careful because I never say those things right. He is black, and he is serving black sororities. Get your beta, whatever, Greek letter alphabet sorority paraphernalia. And I said, okay, now wait a minute. When I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, paraphernalia was pot stuff, smoking weed, that kind of stuff. Do the sororities, do the members of your community actually use the word paraphernalia? We had a long discussion. Now, the short answer was yes. And that was key to the process, right? Understanding the words that your people use. And if you watch the very first episode, the beta episode that I did 2 weeks ago of this show, I talked a lot about the thank you page magic. What UpViral calls the share page is really what the rest of the world calls the thank you page, which is, by the way, I have trademarked thank you page magic because that's what the users use. So in asking AJ, do they really use paraphernalia? His answer was yes. The sorority sisters in the black community call it paraphernalia. The t-shirts, the mugs, the stuff that goes along with cheering along your sorority. The swag, many people call it. But the key to the story about AJ is not that, even though that was a good distraction. Oh my gosh, look at this. Let's see. Data-driven decisions don't lie. And Freddie, it's almost as if I paid you. Thank you so much for that one. Because when we were looking at the data inside of AJ's campaign that he was running, and at the time, he was getting every person in his campaign to refer 3 other people. We got that up to 7, by the way, in his last campaign. Every person that came into his campaign was referring 7 other people. You do that in your business and you're going to explode. But last year when we talked about this, it was 3. And by the way, if you go over to moversdo.com, and I don't have a card to show you, failure on my part, but moversdo.com, you can see the campaign that we worked on because there's a little video on that page. That's moversdo, moversdo.com. There's a video that I showed you the campaign that we looked at and what it looked like after we had spent hours and hours and hours customizing it inside the mastermind. But going back to this story, it was getting 3 people referred for every person that came into the campaign. And we went into the data. I'm going to show your point again, Freddie. Data-driven decisions don't lie. We found out that the number 1 source of referrals of those 1 to 3 was email. Now, before the campaign started, if you had told me that sorority sisters between the ages of 18 and 22 who are in college, their number 1 choice of communicating with other people in the sorority that they knew might be interested in winning the contest was going to be emails, I would have laughed so hard. I would have laughed my fanny off. I probably did. But when we looked at the data, they were emailing about 3 to 1, if I remember correctly. The referrals were coming through emails. They were not coming through Facebook, social media, all those other kind of things. So thank you, Freddie, for that data-driven decisions don't lie comment. Because that's exactly true. When we found out what the data was doing, we started focusing on that, right? We changed our wording. We changed our focus. Instead of email being down at the bottom of the page, we made it on the top. We figured out that that's what they were doing, so let's go do it. Which was, in my mind, contrary to what I thought 18 to 22-year-olds would be doing. Hi, Carlene. Carlene is here. I'm sorry, not movers, not moo as in cow move, just mover as in M-O-V-E-R. Somebody who moves. You know, the guys that help you in the truck. I do kind of say it like movers, don't I? There's not two O's there, there's only one O. But those are the kind of things that you need to look at when you're running campaigns. It goes back to the very first topic, the topic of this show. Tony's here. Hi, Tony. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you being here, Tony and Carlene and Freddie and all the others. This goes back to the topic, right? How often should you email is my question of the day. My answer was daily or weekly at a minimum. But guess what? You need to look at your data. You need to track the data, the open rates, the delivery rates, the stuff that goes with the emails to find out whether you're doing, or the amount of money you bring in maybe from emails. You need to keep track of that stuff so that you know what's working for you. If your unsubscribe rate blossoms when you start going daily, maybe you shouldn't be doing daily. Maybe you should be doing every 3 days a week. Steve Stein says, hi. Hi, Steve. Thanks for being here. I feel like... See, the nouns are just not working. Tom Hanks in the movie... you guys know what I'm talking about. Freddie says, I did it again. Freddie says, looking forward to being on the membership. Thank you so much. Let me do this. How about this? Watch that. Yes, I agree. Thank you. Amazing. I love these new things. Tony, I'd like you to help me run my first campaign. That's something we could potentially do, Tony. Absolutely. Are you the guy that posted in the Facebook group today? Somebody posted today. Oh, I closed it. Oh, well. Running your first campaign is not the most important one. Oh, what? The second and the third and the fourth ones are the most important ones. The first one just gets you out of the woods. You'll hear me talk about this gobs and gobs of time in the future. The very first campaign you run should be small, not the biggest thing on your plan, just something to get you familiar with how the tool works, to test it, to see what results you get, and then you go to the second campaign, which is bigger and better than the first one. If you're trying to use a tool, bye, Freddie. Freddie says I have to go. I am over the hour. I see that. Thank you for being here, Freddie. I appreciate you. But don't make your first campaign the biggest, baddest ass campaign you've ever done. The people who have had the most success with UpViral, although there are exceptions to every rule, the people that have had the most success are the ones that started pretty small. They learned how the tool works. There was somebody who posted in the UpViral group just yesterday. I have to be careful. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. But they posted asking what I think is a basic question. Maybe it's not too obvious. But if that person had done the testing of the campaign and saw how the tool worked and looked at the results, they would have seen the answer. It would have been right there in front of them. So my urge to you, Tony, if you have the chance, run a small campaign. Give away a $50 Amazon gift card. Throw away all those people. Maybe that's not the right answer, but that's what I have done in the past just to test out some things to see how they work. I have done that. I haven't used those leads for anything because they're not important to me. They're not the right person. They're not the right people that will benefit from what I'm doing. But that doesn't mean I can't learn from running a campaign. Figure out how things work. Maybe test this thing and that thing, or images or stuff. Give away the prize, move on. I have seen so many people try to put together the biggest, baddest ass campaign in their first try, and it didn't work the way they wanted, or something they didn't test, and this and that, and it failed, and off they went, moved on, because they didn't understand the problems. They didn't understand what worked and what didn't work. So, anyway, if you guys stick with me, if you do go back and join the membership that I was talking about a little while ago, we'll talk about all that stuff. Now, primarily the place that I do the biggest, baddest stuff for members is in the Movers Mastermind. That's moversdo.com. Those are the people that get the more hands-on. It is a group session. We don't do one-on-one there unless nobody shows up for that particular session. I have done plenty of one-on-one because other members didn't show up. But the idea is that we get together, we work as a team, we build your campaigns, and off you go. Then we do another one. We do another one. We do planning of campaigns. So, anyway, that's the presentation. If you guys have any questions, pop them in. Let me know if you have questions, because I do want to wrap this up. I do want to try to break my... I've done... Freddie's gone now, but he knows... Steve, you know, I tend to... Carlene knows for sure that I can go on and on and on and on and on. And the idea here is I want to keep them short and concise and as possible. So if you have any questions, pop in. I have a question. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up next week. What I'm going to do for the beta period of this, even though I think the review shows are going to be members only, what I'm going to continue to do for a little bit is to continue doing them live here for everybody. And next week, the same time, we'll do a review show. Then the following week, we will be back to the very first Tuesday, and I'll do a presentation. Then we'll do the Q&A. So we will keep going in that order to be able to get your questions answered, to get you the stuff that you need to know. Carlene says, you're passionate, that's all. I am passionate about this topic. I know so much about this topic, it drives me bonkers. I see people doing things, and I'm like, oh, God, I could help you do that so much better. Tony, you want to get on a chat, you can go to... If you go to contactmitch.com, I have one, and the QR code is broken for this one, by the way, just like the others. Let's have a little conversation. Probably best to start out on Messenger, and we'll lay out a few things. Anybody else have any other questions before we go? Let's wrap this up. Tomorrow, in the same spot, by the way, in the same spot, you will see Bradley and I having a wonderful conversation about some topic which we haven't picked yet. If you go to the calendar, and I will be getting a Mitch calendar link here in a couple of weeks, a week or two, the calendar will have an outline of what topics I'm going to be talking I'm not sure I understand, Carlene. I do have one. You have one what? Oh, a question. Oh, question, sorry. Okay. Well, similar to last week. Carlene, if you think I remember last week's question, I've gotten really hot. I'm going to turn the fan on over my head, so excuse me for that. I know. Question. So what's the question? While she types that, tomorrow, now Bradley, for those of you who don't know, is somebody I am learning a lot from. He was here earlier. I don't know whether he's still here. Bradley's amazing. Bradley knows a heck of a lot about viral marketing, word of mouth marketing. He's run multiple campaigns. I've used Bradley as an example a lot, by the way. One of the things, I don't want to be in that one. This is a phrase that I have stolen from Bradley. The offer must be so everything, so enticing, that people are willing to crawl through broken glass to get it. So, Carlene, while you're typing your question, the key is the offer. The key is the offer. It's everything. If you don't get the offer right, which I'll go back to Tony talking about the campaign, often what people do is they put all their ammo into one offer without testing, without using UpViral in any other way, and the offer sucks. The offer isn't the right offer to bring in the people that they want. I have done that myself. When I was running my photography video blog, I created a forum. When I launched the forum, I gave away an iPad. I did my very first contest was for an iPad to try to get members, the photography people, into this photography forum. I thought, well, the photographers are going to love the iPad because you can do so much stuff with the iPad with photos. That wasn't it. The summit question. So I plan to do a summit, but the person organizing the summit has a format, which is to have the VIP sale on the thank you page. I know your format is to have UpViral on the thank you page, but as this is his format, how can I include the competition, the UpViral thing? You can quite easily do that. Tell me, Carlene, what his tool, what's the tool that you're using for the lead magnet, for the opt-in? I think you said ClickFunnels. I don't really want that to get smaller. I want it to get bigger. And you said, how could you structure a competition around his format? If you go back to Entreport, that's it. Are the pages on Entreport? Is that where the landing pages are, or is that just the autoresponder? I've never done Entreport pages. I do think that Entreport does pages. Yes, pages. Oh, well, as I said last week, UpViral insists on being the first page. If I come back to these flowcharts, this one I think, and I don't, it's not down farther on the page. The idea is that UpViral insists on being the opt-in page. It also would really like to be on the thank you page. But if you are building Entreport opt-in and then an Entreport thank you page, I'm not sure. I have never tried to embed the UpViral widget on the thank you page. But the biggest struggle is if you're not using UpViral as the opt-in form itself, then all bets are off. UpViral insists on the data coming into UpViral first, pardon me, and then you can export it. UpViral will send the leads over to Entreport as an autoresponder. But if you're going to use those pages, the struggle is that if you put the widget on the thank you page without UpViral being on the front, it doesn't know what data to show the user. It doesn't know what data to put inside of that thing to give them their unique link. UpViral has to be the first part. I do believe that with thousands of dollars of coding, you could make it work by trying to figure out what the users, I don't know, it might be impossible. I've never seen anybody successfully do it without UpViral being those two pages. I'll go back to Gabe Schillinger's thing. Where is it? Here's Gabe Schillinger's page. And I know it's really small. But in the upper left-hand corner, Gabe made the first two pages be UpViral-based pages. The viral loop was in the first two pages. And then all the other pages came after. And he did have a sales pitch on the sharing page, the UpViral sharing page, what I call the thank you page, on the second page of the process. But he knew exactly what he was doing with all of this stuff. I have seen, for example, Brian Austin do this, where the UpViral page was the third page in this process. I'm experimenting with something that's not going to work today. Because you guys can't see my cursor, but I'm talking about the fourth page in this process, the UpViral sign up page. But he wrote code that were on page 2 and 3 or 1, 2, and 3. And he spent a lot of time writing the code to make those pages work. Thousands of dollars worth of coding time to make that process work. He's the only one I've seen successfully do it. But he wrote a lot of code to make that happen. This also is why, by the way, people need to be completely familiar with the process. I'll go back to what I was talking about before. If you don't understand the process, if you don't completely get how all of this stuff points together, how it works together, then if you were trying to do something like what Gabe did, or what Brian Austin did, you're not going to understand how it could potentially work because you don't understand the basics of this stuff in the first place. You don't understand this is a two-page process. People so many times try to bury UpViral in the second or the third or the fourth page of what they think is the optimum funnel, and they find out that it doesn't work. The biggest reason that it doesn't work, I'm going to put this back up. Let's go to this one. The biggest reason that their schemes don't work is they don't realize that the sharing that's over on the right-hand side of this image points to the opt-in page. And what they think they can do is make that opt-in page be the third or fourth, or the first page in the process, and then have 2 or 3 pages in the middle, and then the thank you page being at the end. And they have it all worked out in their head that that's the way a funnel works. But UpViral's linking doesn't work the way you think it does in a multiple page process. It has to be, I'm going to go back to this, Gabe figured it out. It has to be the first 2 pages in the process. If you want to make life simple on yourself, make UpViral be the first 2 pages in your campaign, and then you can do anything else you want in your life. The opt-in has to be an UpViral opt-in. It can't be Entreport's opt-in, and then you try to use Zapier to put people in, or coding to put people in and get things to work. It's not going to work. If you make UpViral be the lead part of the process, and I'm giving you my 8 years of experience of working with this stuff. If you don't make UpViral be the first part of the process, it fails. I guarantee it will fail unless you spend thousands upon thousands of dollars. And most people, what they don't do is they don't test that referral process. And if you don't have the referral process working where UpViral tracks those referrals, it's moot point. Why bother? And that's the part they forget. They come to me later and they go, well, the campaign didn't work because people weren't getting credit for the referrals. I said, well, that's because you didn't test it. You didn't build the process the way it needs to be built. You didn't understand how everything flows together. That's your fault. Now, they've been treated to ClickFunnels, where ClickFunnels says you do this and you do that and you do that and you do that and then you do this. That's not the way UpViral works. And I'm sorry to belabor this point, but it's important, especially for new people. If you don't understand the process, I've drilled this in a bazillion times, which, by the way, is why one of the very first things that I am offering in my new world is an UpViral quick start. And I don't have a slide for it yet because I don't have the purchase page built yet. The course is built. If you want to buy it, it's $97. Come see me. I will get it to you. But it's a 1-hour course that teaches the absolute basics of this process. How the points work, how the referrals work, and then it shows you where all those things are in UpViral. The first 5 videos are teaching you the damn process. If you don't understand the process, you can't do the rest of it. UpViral doesn't teach you that stuff. If you go look at the UpViral training, the Get Started training in UpViral, they show you, page 1, here's how you do an incentive. Page 2, here's how you do a reward. Here's how you do the points. They don't tell you the why. They don't tell you the what's behind it, the processes, the things you need to know to understand to be able to do all the other stuff. I'm the only one that can teach you that. They don't teach it. I have figured out the magical stuff that goes in, and I can teach it to you. They don't teach it. They don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to belittle UpViral, but they don't use their own tool enough to understand the processes. It works great, but they don't use it enough. They are using ClickFunnels to opt in with people. We talked about it. Mark and I talked about it multiple times. He said, we need to do more of our own dog food. He called it dog food. We need to do more of our own stuff. And I'm like, yes, you absolutely do. Anyway, they're great people. I love UpViral. It's the best tool on the planet. I love it, love it, love it. But that's why I'm teaching this stuff. It's because there's a hole. I'm filling the hole. I am teaching you the best stuff that I know so that you can jumpstart your process. All right, enough of that. Any other questions? And thank you for asking that, Carlene. I know we talked about it last time. I know it's hard for it to sink in. Part of the struggle is that UpViral is selling their software. They make it sound magical, that it fits into everything, that there are all these integrations. And then you try to figure out how it fits into a process that you already have. And you're like, it doesn't quite fit in. It's like a car where you're trying to put a turbocharger that's not built for the kind of car you own. If you start with UpViral in its basic form, and especially if you use their page builder, works great. get people on your email list and then sell them everything after, right? Why we're talking about the email list. That's why this entire show was about building your email list and how many times do you email them, because that's where the money is. It's not in the fancy tools. It's not anywhere else. It's in your list. I don't have it in front of me. The money is in the relationship you have with your list. Ryan, I'm going to get that name. It's going to come to me. Ryan tells you you can build an amazing business with only 1,000 leads. But those are passionate people that you have a wonderful relationship with. And when you offer something new, they all jump on it. That's the kind of list I'm building. Those are the people I want. People like Carlene, who keeps coming back every week. People like Freddie, who has seen multiple things. When you keep coming back, I can guarantee that you're going to grow your business. Because you're going to implement the right stuff. This is not magic. I use the word magic. I use the word magic because I want people to be excited about it. The gamification is fun and engaging. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's not a new bell and whistle. Word of mouth marketing is the oldest form of marketing there is. We've just forgotten about it. We have gotten so wrapped up in Facebook ads, because that's what everybody says works. We've forgotten that this word of mouth thing is right there. You got a whole bunch of people on your existing list. They can help you build your business because they know, like, and trust you. And I can guarantee you that virtually every person on your existing list knows somebody else that needs what you have to offer. You just don't ask them to share it, and they don't think about it. I don't think about, oh, I know Paula. Wow, her business could benefit from this. Whatever it is you are offering. Paula, oh man, there's Joanne over here. She could use this. This would be so great for her business. We simply, as business owners, have forgotten how to ask. And that's what I'm teaching. All right, thank you all for being here. We have no more questions. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to have you show up every week, same bat time, same bat channel, so that I can help you learn how to do this stuff. It is simple. There's not a lot of magic to it. It's just a matter of implementing it. So thanks again for tuning in. We will see you again soon. If you want to jump in on the beta of my thing, go over to thankyouPageMagic.com/MitchMagic and sign up. We will get you moving. And I will see you again next week. Thank you so much for being here. Ta-ta.